go live on one of the platforms. So I am going to try this again. And again, I apologize. I have to toggle back and forth to see your comments. So my apologies if I don't catch your comments. I'm trying to see to make sure that I am live on all the platforms. Let's check again. Hello, everyone. Okay, so it looks like I am live everywhere. Yay. Okay, so I did see that on my Facebook group, you guys made some comments and I can address them here. So someone asked about a T-square. Let me see, when does the T-square end? So Mars is already separating, but Venus is approaching it, so it's going to happen again. Most likely, I think it on the 15th, after the 15th, we won't feel it as strongly, but prior to that, we're feeling it. And let me check to see if I can see the comments in another way, because this is going to irritate me if I can't see the comments. Sorry about this. I'm trying this new platform and there we go. Okay, so I'm seeing some of the comments. I do apologize in advance if you guys, if I can't answer. Now let me see. Can you guys see me on Instagram? Because I can't seem to see you. There we go. Okay, so it does look like you guys can see me. Yay! So I am going to be talking about the solar return for the nation. So happy Independence Day. I had already done this before, but something happened that it didn't stream. I'm not really sure why. I am using a new software, so just bear with me because I'm not going to be able to see your comments. I will answer them after. Just making sure everything is good. Okay, good. So I'll start over again and let me have the, there we go. So I have the chart for the solar return of the nation. So this time around, we are having our 245th birthday, and we have an ascendant in Aquarius this time around. The sun's always in Cancer because that's what the solar return is actually about. And it's about when the sun goes to the same exact degree of for either birthday. In this case, we're talking about the nation, and the moon is in Taurus in this chart. So natally, we have a rising in Sagittarius, and we have our moon in Aquarius, and we have our sun in Cancer. So the big three, which is Cancer and Aquarius and a Sag rising, the big three, they're kind of emphasized in this chart as well. So the nation's natal chart is actually conjuncting the Saturn in Aquarius and also the Aquarius ascendant. So when we look at the ascendant itself in a nation's chart, it's talking about the country and the people in the country. So the first house is all about the people. And because the moon is falling into the first, sorry, I have my notes here. The moon is falling into the first house, matters around the homeland. So we're going to be focusing a lot more on the nation versus focusing on other countries this time around. That's what we're doing. Now, Saturn is in the first, so we're having a maturation phase because it's getting very close to the natal moon that we have in Aquarius. So revamping structures. Now, there's a T square that's going to be part of the year. So that was another question someone asked. How long is this lasting for? So solar returns last a year. So this is going to be the astrological weather for the nation for the year. Um, the next solar return, which would be next 4th of July, will have a new chart. So this chart itself is going to be talking about the things and the matters and the um, um, subjects that we're going to be working on, and things are going to be emphasized for the year. So Saturn is government. Saturn is structures, architectural structures, buildings. It's also the aging nation because it rules old people. And in the sign of Aquarius, sustainability. So those are matters that we are going to be focusing on. And this solar return has the moon in Aquarius, which again, innovation. So if I would use a keyword for this solar return, it's going to be innovation because we have a lot of it in the chart. So the moon represents the people, and I talked about the natal moon, again, people. And then this time around, we have the moon in Taurus, which is exalted, and the ruler is Venus, and it's in the sign of Leo. So, in the seventh house of collaboration, contracts, policy, it is forming a applying square. So there's going to be some legwork to be done because squares cause that. But the exaltation of the moon talks about focusing on matters of the homeland because it's also falling in the fourth house. Now, this can be from innovating homes, innovating the real estate business, the markets, food. Ceres is there, rules agriculture. The moon is wedged between Uranus and Ceres, and it's close to the midpoint, meaning the middle ground of both Uranus and Ceres. And Ceres talks about the seasons and abundance and agriculture. Ceres rules food and also the seasons. So Uranus being there, talking about innovating food. So how are we going to do that? I mean, it could be negative, positive, because of the fact when we use Uranus, it's kind of reinventing things and innovating things. So we can talk about not really using organic methods. So we could use more scientific methods, but all the squares kind of showing that that's not something the country wants to focus on. So hopefully these methods are going to be more towards using like smarter practices and making more reforms around agriculture that are more sustainable and organic and helpful for the people. But again, with those squares, some pushback. We also have, let's see, we have Jupiter in the second house. This is a house of resources for the nation. So it is in Pisces, which is in a sign that Jupiter rules. And this is talking about money, but we see Neptune there. Neptune actually blurs things. Pallas Athena very close, which is strategizing. But Neptune and Pallas both have a square to Mercury in the fifth, which is going to be blurring our plan. Pallas Athena is to have an executive plan, and Neptune kind of just blurs things, kind of blurs the mind. Mercury being the way that we communicate and the higher mind. So that's a signature we're going to have for the year. Again, everything I'm talking about is going to be something that's emphasized for the year. And then we have Mercury in the fifth house, which is talking about education and also entrepreneurship and certifications, apprenticeship. That's the house that causes us to go back home, like the house of home, the heart, where the heart's at. We have the North Node there. So it looks like money is going to be tied in with innovating those those things, those new platforms, and having the people actually have more businesses, like create more businesses, create more online businesses. Could be another, like, revamping the online system, with Uranus also very close to the moon, again emphasizing technology. Now, let me see what other aspects I talked about, because I had done this live before, but I didn't do it on this platform. So I'm coming on to do it on this platform too. Okay, so Pluto. So Pluto is falling in the 12th house, which is the house of undoings. It's also a secluded house. It's a house that rules hospitals. It's a house that rules institutions, also like asylums and retreats, and something that we are separated from everyday routine, which would be the 6th house. So matters around changing our, most likely, our policies around it. Now, Pluto is forming a supportive trine to the moon and Uranus. Now, Uranus is quite far, but it's still my house. There's a trine. So the people are going to rise in power. The people are going to be kind of stepping up. But there's Pallas Athena and Neptune involved. So not the whole picture is being seen. There's things that we're not seeing quite clearly. Also, the country's overspending, and something in regard to the economy is happening. We have a lot of the money houses activated. So the 2nd house is a money house. The 6th house is a work house, and then the 11th house is also another money house. It rules long-term investments and retirement, and also the 5th house rules speculation and shorter investments. So that's also being emphasized here. Now, the sun is falling in the 6th house, which is the workforce, and it's always going to be in Cancer for the nation because we have a Cancer sun. But it's in a trine to Neptune, and it's also in a sextile to Uranus and the moon. So again, supporting innovation, because Uranus is making an exact sextile to the sun, and the sun is represented or representing the president and the current administration in power. So these are the things that the country's leader is going to be talking about, which is restructuring our own home. Also, the Uranus, it has been predicted in the past when it's transiting the sign of Taurus that weather is going to be quite crazy. Uranus rules storms, and especially like thunderstorms, things like that. So in the sign of Taurus, which is Earth, and that's where Uranus is known to be at a weaker position. We already started hearing the president talking about climate change and things like that. So that's another a big topic. And most likely the innovations around that are going to be around climate change. And we're going to see a lot of that. In the comments earlier, someone posted about feeling that there's going to be an earthquake. Well, Uranus rules earthquakes. It rules very bizarre weather. So there's supportive aspects, but then there's also challenging ones. We have a lot of squares from Uranus to Venus and Mars, and then in opposition from Venus and Mars to Saturn, and from Saturn to the moon and Uranus and Ceres, which is that T-square that's going to be a signature for the year. So as of now, for the month, it should be relieving around the 15th. But for the year, we're going to have those matters really emphasized, which is the first house, the fourth, and the seventh. Now, the seventh house is policies and collaborations and contracts. So we have Venus there and Mars, and they're forming a new cycle. They're about to conjunct, so they're not conjunct yet. So things that are ruled by Mars, people that are ruled by Mars, jobs that are ruled by Mars are going to be emphasized. And Mars rules the engineer, the workforce, the construction worker, opposing Saturn. That's an aspect for Mars. And then Venus rules the arts, and it also rules design and interior structures. Venus co-rules architecture with Saturn. So again, matters of restructuring buildings and land. So that's all being emphasized. And honestly, that could create jobs, that could create more opportunities for the nation. And some of these buildings need to be either remodeled or reinforced because some of them are very old. So the test of time is actually trying a lot of old structures and Saturn rule structures. So with Uranus there, with the Aquarius energy, innovating, using technology, using new methods of structures. And then we also have the moon in Uranus again. So that's why I said if we were to use a keyword for the solar return, it's innovation for sure. Now, all the planets are falling between the sixth, most of them, between the first and the sixth. And then we only have Venus and Mars in the seventh, and then Pluto in the 12th, which is also a hidden house. So, pioneering new frontiers, that's coming from Mars and Venus. But most of the planets underneath the surface, lots of research, lots of retreat, lots of restructuring, because these are the hidden houses. So they're talking about just coming to home and working on home matters, which I think it's good because we're a nation that likes to focus on other countries. So this year we need to be focusing on our personal restructuring, but also negotiations. There's negotiations in the forefront. So how are those going to play out? We're going to be looking at Venus and Mars. Venus could be a very graceful negotiator, and Mars very aggressive. So again, forming that new cycle. Now, the MC is falling in Sagittarius, and it's conjunct Juno, and it's also with the South Node. So I hate to talk about this and deliver this message, but we're going to most likely see a lot of divorces because Juno rules marriage and it's conjunct the South Node. It's actually exact conjunct. It's only a few minutes off, about 12 minutes off. So the South Node, it just undoes things. It releases things. Now there's a supportive trine. So if people go to counseling, seek help from counseling, then they could actually not get divorced, but again, spending time on topics on why they need to work problems out. And this is because Chiron is in the third, so talking about injuries and healing those injuries. And then Chiron is also trining Venus and Mars, which are the cosmic lovers. They rule love and passion and sex. They rule the sexual houses, the love houses together. So, they also rule money. So it could be divorcing over money matters, over the way money is being spent. But if they're talked about, then it could be supported. If they're not talked about, we're going to see a lot more divorces, which I hate to talk about. But yeah, it's just being emphasized in the chart. And let me see, what else did I talk about that I didn't talk about this time? Because like I said, this is take 2. Okay, so it looks like I covered a lot of things over. Let me see if I see some of your comments. Again, I apologize. I'm using a new platform and I can't see any comments. So let's see. Okay, thank you guys for being here. I see some little emoji faces. Okay, awesome. So looks like we don't have any comments. So I am going to let you guys go and have a beautiful 4th of July. Just wanted to report on the solar return for the nation. Um, I'm actually happy to see the way that the solar return turned about, because it's um, focusing on the nation and how the nation is going to rebuild itself. So um, I think it's good for us. It's good. It's going to be good for the people as well, because the North Node is in the 5th house. So that's going to help us innovate educational systems, innovate the workforce. So yeah, thank you guys so much. Hi, first time on page. Oh, hi, welcome. Welcome. This is the first time I use this platform. I'm using a restreaming platform, and looks like the comments are like delayed. So a rundown of the newbies. Can you explain a little more? Just got on. How will it affect? So you guys can watch the replay. I talk about everything. Now it's kind of hard to pinpoint because astrology is literally another language. So like I said, if I was to use a keyword for the year, is innovation. So this is a breakdown of the birthday of the nation. So it's the 245th birthday, and what we do is we look to see how the planets are falling and what are they doing. So in this chart, we're having the ascendant, which is going to represent the people in Aquarius. We're having the moon, which is going to represent the actual land, and because it's falling in the 4th house, so like property, land, and it also represents the people. The moon represents the people. So and it's with Uranus, so matters of people again. And the sun falling in the 6th house, which is workforce. The sun represents the president and the administration. So that's what I covered, and in general it's all together. Now how does this affect every zodiac sign? It's not going to affect them the same way, because we're looking at the nation's birth and topics of the nation. So we're going to be affected no matter what, based on what the nation decides to work on. So yeah. So if you have any planets that are conjuncting these exact points, you're going to see some of these topics show up in your personal life as well. But this was more a rundown of the nation's birth date. So it is more advanced astrology, but I go live every Wednesday and I talk about everything astrology. I break down smaller topics. This is more for the advanced person that is more into like the breakdown of solar returns and things like that, because I do have people that are new and people that have taken my classes and courses. So I just decided to go on and talk about the nation itself, and I like to reflect back on the predictions. So in the future, when we re-listen to this and you see some of this stuff come true, you'll see that it was written in the stars. So yeah. Yeah, you do need to have your birth certificate to get an exact chart, like to know your ascendant. That's going to be your personality. If you don't have your time of birth, then use a sunrise chart. What does that mean? You're going to set the time like around 6 a.m. So you want to set it as soon as the sun is rising, the morning. So it's not going to be super accurate, but it's looking at your chart from the perspective of your sun, which some of the things can apply to you. So that's the default. The other one is doing a noon chart, which is putting the sun highest by the midheaven. So those are remedies for not having a birth time. But the birth time is best because it's going to tell you more about it. You're welcome, guys. Well, I wanted to wish everyone happy 4th. Stay safe. We still have the Mars opposing Saturn and squaring Uranus, which means Mars causes accidents. So be careful with things like that. Be extra cautious. And as long as you're cautious, you should be fine. Thank you so much. Take care, and I will see you guys later. Bye. Okay, where is this thing? There we go. See you guys.